Okay, welcome Aquarius. Some really interesting, unusual things came out on the pre-shuffle. So what we're going to do is we are going to just read what we see. This could have something to do with what you're doing in the future, career-wise, or it could be a big change coming up for you, a good one. So we're just going to, I'm going to keep taping no matter what comes up, and I'm just going to analyze what I'm looking at here. This could be very specific, you see. Yeah, I'm feeling this energy again. It's something huge. Is it ever? All right, guys. So Aquarius, we've got the Magician and the Death card. These are two major arcana cards. It's big stuff. Big stuff here. I am going to clarify. It's exciting. I'm going to clarify using the Marseille deck. Some of you are about to do something very remarkable. You may not even realize it. Can we clarify the Magician and Death, please? Can we have some more information? In 3, in 2, clarify why is Magician? One more. Clarify the Magician and Death, please. Okay, it's right here. Wow. Okay. And I am, believe it or not, I'm getting a chakra card. What's going on here? Yeah, this is more than a love reading. This is big stuff. I just saw 222. So first of all, notice how you're looking at a pentacle here. A pentacle is a thing. It's something tangible. It's matter. What's matter? It's energy that takes up space. You're looking, and you're really looking, focused on, you're holding it up and you're looking at that pentacle. And you're having a massive realization. Well, you may already know this. You may be studying this. There is a realization here about that piece of matter. And we have the sun here. And of course, there are things, it's almost like rain coming from the sun. But these could be photons, electrons, high-speed electrons. And notice how they make, what are they making? People, you know, and matter. Up here, I don't think you're surprised by this at all. These two cards, you know, go together very well. The Death card, we've got a skeleton riding a horse. This skeleton is very much alive. The skeleton is even smiling. And down here, you know, there are people, well, there's a bishop or some kind of a religious person who's begging, please, please, no, no, because of course that so-called religious person thinks that death, they don't understand death, they think it's an ending. But if that were true, then why is there a skeleton, which obviously there's no body there, that there's no, you know, living, breathing human body? Why is this skeleton so active and so powerful? Why? Because when you physically die, you don't really die. This skeleton is just as alive as, you know, we see ourselves as being. Right next to that card is the Magician, who is holding this wand that, and in this wand, it has two tips that are exactly the same, and with his hand pointing toward the ground. And of course there's the lamnescape there. We all of us say, oh, it's the infinity sign, but it's actually something that represents what happens to energy, how it behaves at speeds beyond the speed of light. Before the speed of light, it's wavy energy, finite wavy energy. After the speed of light, it begins to double up on itself, and it's called infinite waveless energy. It's the quantum field where, time doesn't matter, distance doesn't matter, energy doesn't need space. It's hard to imagine. I find it hard to imagine, but the whole idea here is what is being created here. He's pointing toward the ground, physical things, that physical thing that you're holding there. It comes, the source of it comes from the quantum field, from everywhere and nowhere, from these photons. Oneness, you are part of the universe and always will be. In other words, you're not separate. When you die, you don't die. You're quite active here, like that skeleton is. I think that there's something here that you're realizing. You may be manifesting. You could be manifesting money or manifesting a home. There's something that you're doing here that defies, the common day. It defies the 3D. In other words, it makes sense. Let's look at the moon on the bottom of that deck. How did that happen? Well, it happened for a reason. The moon, of course, there's two pillars there, right? There's two pillars in the death card as well. And they're the same pillars. Beyond those pillars are the Akashic records, right? All of the knowledge, the true knowledge, knowledge that is hidden. Very often the moon cards, many people interpret this. The old-fashioned Golden Dawn friends of mine, what they will say is that it's mocking the idea of evolution. How on earth can we've got a lobster, a dog, and a wolf, and of course, for anyone who subscribes to who has heard of the CDT plates or the many of you, I think, are on to this, and this knowledge is going to be exposed, I think, in the next couple of years. But I believe, anyway, you don't have to accept this, that evolution is just ridiculous. That's not the way it happened. There's billions and billions of years ago. There were a number of human races. Those were our roots. There are so many civilizations. It's insane. We are in the first harmonic universe. There are 14. We are in the most dense. This is the most challenging, the most challenging realm to be in because of its density and other things, like the fact that our Earth is spinning counterclockwise. Anyway, let's keep going. There's something that you're doing or will be doing that's pretty huge. Show me a little bit more, please. Okay, there's 3 coming out. Yep. Amazing. Wow. See, this is why I love reading for Aquarius. I have to pause the tape for a moment to absorb this. So a very simple interpretation here. This is somebody who is working, in a practical way. They're working with materials, probably working 8 hours a day. This can be somebody who is using their mind, imagining, using a vision board here. And what's happening here, one interpretation of this, is that there's a realization that the way that things actually manifest is from the unseen, through the use of the mind. Because, of course, what the magician is doing is the magician is using his mind. These things sometimes, notice that there's a pentacle right there. These are pentacles here. This sometimes is called the field of attention, or this could be like when you cut pictures out of a magazine and you make a vision board, or, a wish list. And what this person is doing is, instead of working 8 hours a day, is they are using their mind and they are focusing on that. They are channeling energy from the quantum field. And of course, what results are things manifest physically. How? Through the use of the mind. This person is imagining. Now, another interpretation of this that sort of it goes along with it. One of the traditional interpretations of this card is that these are the 7 stages of alchemy. Evaporation, calcification. If you took everything in this material world, it had, let's just set aside this stupid thing that we did when we split the atom and created nuclear weapons. Let's pretend that we didn't do that. The building blocks, the basic building block was the atom, and we know that there are elements, very pure elements. We can break everything down to just a few elements. I think there's about 100 of them, somewhere around there. Some of them are very unstable, but basically there are 20 very basic elements, which they're all made up of atoms, the same thing: protons, neutrons, electrons, and photons. And the only difference between this table and a metal, or my computer over there, the only difference between gold and silver or calcium is the number of protons in the nucleus. Not photons, but protons. Isn't that bizarre? And it has to do with vibration. So the number of protons in the nucleus affects how the vibration of the atom. And of course, then we have molecular bonding. We have a couple of different types of ways that things bond. But this world, in some of the Bible, you'll see this verse: nothing new is created under the sun. In other words, under the sun meaning in this world, nothing new. Everything has already been created by the Creator. We were meant to enjoy these things. All of the basic things, if we use these pure alchemical processes, we get this huge variety of material: animal, vegetable, mineral. But the source of everything, of course, is the quantum field. So you could be realizing this or studying this, or there's something, or you could simply be manifesting something for yourself. Now here you are. Now let's find out what this is. That destructive energy is there right next to the star. I'm going to clarify the Knight of Swords. There's no pentacles. There are no pentacles in this card. It's all emotional fulfillment. happiness. This was what we were meant to enjoy. We're going to find out what this is here, because this could be those dark. I just saw 1515. The devil. That could be the dark forces that created, prison earth, as we call it. So, I mean, there could be some people, who are very angry, that this information, that this is so, because of course I just saw 1555. Who would those people be? People who are in positions of power, who benefit from, people believing that there's only so much to go around, or that there's only one way to obtain money, or to, this information is dangerous to those people. It threatens them because it takes their power away. So people who are very focused on material things. They simply don't want to believe in God. Notice how here is a cup that's coming from a cloud, coming from God. They're pretending that it doesn't exist. They just want everyone to believe that things are, this person is, committed to the 3D. They're deliberately ignoring where everything comes from. Show me more, please. Okay, there's 3 coming out. Yeah. Wow. I just saw 1717, so that's your number. So I do think this could be about ascension and possibly what's coming up, the 3 days of darkness. There is the Tower and death here with the 4 of Cups. This person is in a snit. They're ignoring spiritual things. They're ignoring things that come from God. They may be aware of the truth, but they're in a snit about it. They want to believe that, in this 3D. So this could be somebody who's very wealthy or in a position of power. It's a disaster here for this person. The idea, the death card, that we don't die. The death card is a very positive card. All right. This is a sudden realization. The Tower is the second stage of spiritual awareness, of spiritual ascension. That lightning, notice how it's striking a tower, and there's a crown being knocked off. So these could be, this could be the downfall of the, the ruling powers of the day. They don't like the truth. They just don't, they don't want to accept the truth. They're hoping that everybody will fear death and, will subscribe to the 3D. But over here, I think what's happening here is that person is, there's somebody in a position of power here. That person is in a position of power. Here we go. And there's materialism. Yeah. Devoid of spirit. I think what we're looking at here are people who are really upset that they can't get you scared here, because this woman here is she's accepting all of the lies and the illusions. She's doped up, or the longer she stays in this energy, she's starting to grow horns here. This is devoid of spirit. It just has all the material stuff: fire, earth, air, water, no spirit. Notice how the pentagram, which should normally be, it's right side up there, and at the very tip is spirit at the very tip. But with the devil card, it's been dumped out. All the spirit has been dumped out. So this person is somebody that's worried. They want to keep people in these chains. They want to keep them in this illusion. They want to keep them in fear. They want to keep them under control. And they're worried. This person is worried here. And it's a power wielder. Show me a little bit more. Okay, so there's 3 trying to come out here. Yeah, and here you are. Yeah. Raising your sword of truth and clarity. And you're saying, look, this is wrong. This is missing information. This cube is incomplete. It's 50% of what actually exists. There's all sorts of information missing here. It's not the complete truth. So I'm just going to see what's underneath the Queen of Swords. Yeah, and they're wary. These people, I mean, there are materialistic people are very scared of death. Yeah. All right, so what's Aquarius doing here with the, in the Queen of Swords? What is this sword being raised about? Selfish power wielders? Show me a little bit more. Wow, yeah. I think we're nearing the end of the reading. People are afraid of you, Aquarius. People are very intimidated by you. You're just doing your thing. In that card, you're actually bridging. You're providing a bridge between the quantum field and the material. You're nourishing both, but you're the bridge. I better cover that up. By the way, I've been dinged over and over. YouTube, I just saw 2222. It keeps, I keep getting all of these penalties for the nudity in the cards. It's a computer, I guess, and it gets set off. Yeah. So here you are in the Two of Swords. You know, your intuition is dead on. You don't even have to. These jutting rocks are danger zones. You know where they are even when your back is turned, because you're right here. It's 4 in the morning, and you're meditating, and you're relying on your inner vision here, and you just want peace. And also, you're not trusting. You don't trust what you don't trust what you see or hear. You are relying on your inner vision, and it is correct to do so. You're also very, very protected, very peaceful, and there's a refusal here. Yeah, these swords are very heavy. If anyone comes near you, they could get hurt. You want to bring an end to battles, and you're looking for peace here. Beautiful. I think this is the end of the reading here. So, I mean, Judgment Day is a beautiful thing, all right? There's knowledge here in this card that, there are people being raised out of coffins, all right? And how? Through the Spirit of God, through the esoteric, through this beautiful, the horn of the esoteric, the power, and the thing is, the poor old devil, the devil knows darn well that he can't do that. The devil knows that, he might have billions and billions of dollars, but he doesn't have any connection with God. He can't. Tinkerbell, you're so cute, honey. I love you. There's confirmation there. the devil thinks it's absolutely hilarious that people put their faith in him. In other words, that people make decisions based on fear and materialism and keeping up with the Joneses. He thinks that is absolutely hilarious because he knows that how powerful God is. He knows that he can't touch. He has no power compared to the power of spirit. So he just thinks the devil thinks it's absolutely hilarious. He's laughing at the people who put their faith in him. In other words, the people who make decisions based on fear. For example, oh, Tink, my love, Mommy loves you so much. Could you just, why don't you see that silky pillow over there that Mommy got for you? Can you lie on that just while we finish the reading, my little cutie pie? So I think what the message here is, I think we should end the reading, is that you are part of the universe and you always will be. You don't need to explain yourself, or don't need to bother with people who are challenging your beliefs or your positions. Passion, turn your fear of change into excitement for change. I think you're about to do something, about to embark on some field of study. Vulnerability, showing vulnerability is a sign of strength, and it is. It puts you, it's amazing how it puts you in the position of power when you do that. Truth, speak from your heart. It is the only thing worth listening to. Creation, the flames of destruction will ignite a rebirth. So I just think that many of you could be changing professions, you could be changing your ideology, your beliefs, and you may be questioning yourself, am I crazy? No, you're not at all. Tink. So on the bottom of the deck, I've got hold your vision. So just you stay firm. Hold your vision, Aquarius. See if I can get one last message. Left ear is ringing, so for Aquarius, please. Oh, Tink, honey. Honey bunny, I love you so much. Look at this silky pink pillow. Can you lie on this just while I finish the reading? Your love life will transform when you learn to truly love yourself just as you are. You are perfect just the way you are. Accept this and you will be amazed by the changes it brings into your life. You are a jewel, even though you may not see it. What you consider imperfect is an illusion. Even in darkness, you shine eternally bright. Aquarius, thank you for listening, and let me know what you think.